Right, in this tutorial I'm going to offer you a little bit of help as a number of students have got stuck at this point over here. Sort of just show you what to do next. So again, on Born to Invent, you're at this stage over here. You've done your first rectangle, you've added in your dimensions 138 and 22, and you've added in your two corner rectangles on the ends. These are your finger joints. And the trick is now we're going to add in these final dimensions. That 3, that 10. And where students get a little bit confused is what is this dimension here? And it's 7 millimeters. It's the same as the other side over there. It also does tell you over here that it is 7 millimeters, just in case you're confused. So let's just quickly add that in there, and I'm going to show you some other mistakes that we also make. So step one, first thing we have to do, as we did with these, is we have to have a smart dimension. So we click on, make sure it's Sketch, Smart Dimension, select Smart Dimension. Now the next thing is simply for these two dimensions, click on the line, drag it out, change it to 10 millimeters, and click the green tick. And then this one over here, we can drag it up, change it to 3 millimeters, and click the green tick. Oh, it didn't change. Change it to 3 millimeters and click the green tick. There we go. And this is the tricky bit here, is this dimension over here. You can't click on the line, because if I click on the line, you'll see it does this. And it double adds the dimension. And you can see it now tells me I need 2 of the 22 mils, which I don't want. So I'm going to cancel that. What I need to do in order to get this dimension here, and let's see if I can zoom in, the mouse is very sensitive, and slowly. What I need to do in order to get this dimension from there to there is I need to click on that dot, and then click on the next dot. And that then gives me the dimension, which I can now change to 7. Just a reminder, we don't have to make that millimeters, because we know at the bottom here that it's already in millimeters. And I also don't have to click the green tick, I can just hit the enter button, which will do exactly the same thing. I think I might have changed that accidentally. Sorry, that should have been 7, not 70. And hit the enter button, and it comes back down. And there you can see I've added my 3 millimeters, my 10 millimeters, and my 7 millimeters. And now I can come to the other side, zoom in. Let's just go slowly. Right, and again on this side, I can add my 10 millimeters. And now at the top here, I just want to show you a mistake that students quite regularly make. If I go along this line with the arrow, you'll see this little point drops up in the middle. Right, you see it if I go on the line, and as I move along, that little point appears. That's called the midpoint. Quite often students will click on that midpoint, and then click on the end point, and you'll see what it does is it gives me a midpoint dimension. I'm not going to change it, but you can see that now goes to the center point. If you ever do that by accident, just simply right click, use the select tool, select that dimension, and hit delete on your keyboard, and it will go away. And you can then come back, go first to smart dimension, and click on there, and now change it back to your for 3 millimeters, hit the enter, 3 millimeters. And then finally I have to do this last little dimension, click on the dot, click on the next dot, click again, and hit 7. And we've now done all the dimensions that we need to do. And I'm going to zoom, slowly zoom out, because my mouse is a little bit sensitive. And hopefully you can see there's all the dimensions. So what we've done now is we've done all of those dimensions in there on Born to Invent. The next step is to add all these other corner rectangles on the bottom, or finger joints, and a little circle inside there, and add in all those dimensions exactly the same as you do normally. So remember, little points like this, you click on the center point, click on the edge, and you can give us the dimension for that. The same with all of them. I just want to show you one last little thing, coming back to SolidWorks. Quite often students accidentally click this button over here. This is the Exit Sketch button. And if I click on that, you'll see that sketch gets exited. Now I can't make any edits to the sketch because I'm no longer in it. If I want to go back into the sketch to re-edit it, if you come across to the left-hand side here, you'll see there it says Sketch, and you can see if I highlight over it, it tells me what sketch we're talking about. There is a little icon to the left of that. If you click on the icon, and the little box will appear, the top left one says Edit Sketch. And you can click on Edit Sketch, and then you're back into it, and you can go and edit it as you normally would. Sometimes you may also hit the arrow buttons and end up with something like that as well. You cannot make any changes to a sketch if it's like that. You need to bring it back onto the plane. There's two ways of doing it. You can either click on this little box at the top and say, right, you can see that's the top plane. You'll see on the right-hand side, you want to highlight over it. It shows you what the planes are, and that's the one we want. Another way of doing it, I'm going to click on that to see if it might just bring it up skew, which is not quite what I want. So I move around with my arrows and bring it back to the screen. Another way of doing it is to use the planes. I can either click on the top plane, and I click this little arrow up, it says normal to, and that brings it to that plane, or I can go to the front plane, top plane, sorry, or I can go to the right plane, or I can go back to the front plane. So there's just a few little ways of editing all of those things, should that help you if you can. So I hope this has helped you. If you are still stuck, then obviously please ask. But the instructions are all there on Born to Learn for you, Born to Invent for you.